In this next lesson, I'm going to demonstrate the concept of passing notes and auxiliary notes. So I've already copy and pasted the chords down to a new MIDI track, and I've muted them by pressing the 0 key, highlighting around them and pressing the 0 key so I can't hear them, so we can just see what they are. And let's make another melody, but this time we're going to incorporate some passing notes and auxiliary notes. Now, if you're not too sure what those things are, I'll explain on the way, and hopefully this will make sense to you. So we're going to start with just some chord notes. So let's start here, go to the G, back to the E flat, and I'm going to use C, and then down to the 7th note, which is a B flat. So let's just have a listen to what this sounds like. Okay, so a first bar. Now, right now I'm going to incorporate a passing note. So we have an A flat major chord in this bar. So I'm going to start on the C, which is the 3rd of the chord. And the second note in this bar is going to move to a D and then to an E flat, okay? Now what this basically, this note here is what we call a passing note, okay? C is part of the chord, E flat is part of the chord, but this D is not. But if we go to the C major scale, so my key of my piece is C minor, and if we go to the C minor scale, okay, the C minor scale goes C, D, E flat, okay? So if you've got two chord notes, you can pass by those two notes using a passing note that's not part of the chord, but passes stepwise in the scale. So for example, again, C minor scale, C, D, E flat. Those notes are in order in the C minor scale, so we can use those as a passing note, okay? I'm just going to go through and create some more of this melody using more chord notes. Come down to the 7th note of the chord there, and we'll use a E flat, which is part of the chord there. So again, I've incorporated the 7th note of the chord here. So that was the G to make it an A flat major 7 chord. So let's have a listen to the melody so far. Cool. So again, use the passing note here and a 7th chord note there and a 7th chord note there to make it a little bit more interesting. Next bar, I'm just going to click in at random. We've got the F minor chord. So F, let's go A flat, back to the F. We'll come down to the C, and yeah, we'll just keep this bar as chord notes. Again, not getting too carried away using too many non-chord notes, but let's have a listen to it so far. All right, and we've got to do something in our last bar. So let's B flat. Let's use an auxiliary note. Now, an auxiliary note is when you start on a chord note, so in this case B flat, move to the next note in the scale. So if we're in C minor, we want to go from B flat to C, and then we'll come back to the chord note that we started on. So B flat, C, and then back to B flat. So the C is the non-chord note, but it works as the next note in the scale that we can move to, and then move back to the chord note. So again, B flat, C, and a B flat, and that's how we use auxiliary notes. From here, I'm just going to finish off the melody. So I'm just going to put an F in here, the chord note of B flat major. And okay, in the last bar here, we're just using, again, the auxiliary note. Coming back to the rest of them are chord notes, B flat, D, and F, all chord notes, but just the auxiliary note here, you're going from the chord note to the non-chord note and coming back, just adds a little more flavor to the melody. Let's have a listen to the melody in full. Alright, so there we've used some passing notes, some auxiliary notes, and some 7th chord notes to create a really interesting melody.